Okay, good morning, everyone. So we are here today for our science class. For our first topic, so we have science process, okay? So when we are studying science, we need to learn first the science process, okay? So what are our objectives for this lesson? So our objective for this lesson is, after this lesson or topic, the students will have to describe and apply the scientific process in searching for knowledge. And also, the students will apply the skills of measuring, using numbers, formulating hypotheses, interpreting data, making a conclusion in searching for knowledge. So let's read and think along. So do you know what the scientific process is? What is this for and why do we need to use them? So that is what we are going to learn this time. So science process skills, we use science process skills to ask questions about scientific knowledge because they help us gather information. Like these kids here, they are searching for something that they want to learn. So they have to search information from books. And also these students, they need to gather information or ask questions about something. So they are doing some experiments. So for our science process skills, there are a lot of skills that we need to use. First is observing. Observing is from the word observe, or we need to observe and look, okay? Look, what is it? Try to use in observing, we are using our senses, okay? So observation is the process of using the senses to determine properties of an object or event. So we use our different senses. We have our nose. Our senses is sense of smell. And for our eyes, we have sense of sight. And for our mouth, sense of taste. And for our ears, we have sense of hearing or hear. And for our hands or skin, we have sense of touch. So those senses, we are using them to learn the scientific process, to describe things, okay? We learn this to describe things. Or we use these senses to describe things in a scientific process or in scientific experiment. So let's have some examples. So what do you see? So when you are using your eyes, of course, you see something. So what do you see here? So we see creatures has 5 eyes. It has 5 eyes, okay? The creatures or the alien has 5 eyes. And here we can see the baby is walking. And here we can see that the car is orange, okay? Next, using our nose, what do you smell? Or using your nose, what do you smell? So these are sample observation. Example of your observation using your sense of smell. The fruit smells sweet. The coffee smells strong. And the flower are fragrant, or it has a good smell. And using our sense of touch, what do you feel? Sample observation using touch is, number 1, the scissors are sharp. So when you touch the scissor, you can feel that it is sharp. When you touch cat, you can feel that the cat is soft. And when you touch soap, the soap is slippery. Okay, so that is When we use our sense of touch, we feel things. We feel like soft, smooth, rough, or smooth, rough, or hard. Okay, soft or hard. Next is using our ears or our sense of hearing. What do you hear? We can hear that the girl is laughing. We can also hear that the audience is clapping. And we can also hear that someone flushed the toilet. Okay? So those are the sounds. We can hear sounds. So when we go to different kinds of places, we can hear sounds. We can hear the sounds of an airplane. We can hear the sounds of train. We can hear the sounds of car, buses, sounds of animals. When we go to the forest, we can hear the sounds of animals. So those are the things that we can hear, or we can use our senses to hear things. We can hear our mom that is calling us. We can hear our teachers. We can hear our friends. We can hear our classmates. Okay? So that is by using our ears. Next is, what do you taste? What do you taste? We use our sense of taste or our tongue to taste. So what do we taste, or what do you taste? You taste the watermelon is sweet. And you taste that the chili is spicy. And if you don't drink the milk overnight, the milk becomes sour, okay? It will taste sour. So that is for our number 1, for observing. In observing, remember, we use our 5 senses. Now let's go to number 2, measuring. From the word measure. So we measure things. In science, we measure things. What do we measure? Okay, and what do we use to measure? When we are measuring, we use different kinds of tools. What are those tools? So we have here the weighing scale or the weight scale. This is used to get our body mass or our body weight, if we are heavy or if we are light. So we get the weight of an object or of our body. And we also use ruler to measure. What do we measure when we are using a ruler? We measure length, the length of an object, if the object is short or long. So is it how many meters? How many centimeters? Okay. This one, how many grams and how many kilograms? And we also use graduated cylinder to measure the volume of liquid. So we use this one. We use graduated cylinder to measure the volume of liquid. If the liquid has a high volume or lower volume. And also we use tape measure. For tape measure, we use to measure also the length of our waist or of the height of something. We can use this one, okay? Meter and centimeter. We can also use the tape measure. And we can also use the timer, okay? Timer to measure the time. We can also measure time. If how fast is an object moving, or how fast does the candle melted, okay, in science, we can use that one. Here are some examples when we are using or when we are measuring things or something. So here, Cam uses weight scale to find her weight. So she uses weight scale. And here, Kang uses a ruler to find the length of the book. If the book, how many centimeters is the book or how many meters? So, as I am saying that in measuring length, we use the unit or the basic unit for length is meter or centimeter. For volume, it is liter or milliliter. Like the liter of water, 1 liter, 2 liter. Like the juices, we also measure them like liter or milliliter. Also gasoline, okay? Those liquid, we use the unit of liter or milliliter. Next is the weight. What is the basic unit for the weight? We use grams or kilograms. And also, we measure the temperature of an object, or like the temperature of water or temperature of room or our own body temperature. If our body is hot or cold, so we measure it, our unit is called Celsius, degree Celsius. Okay? So that is number 2. Remember, number 1 is observing. Number 2 is measuring, using measuring device or measuring tools. For number 1, we are using our 5 senses to observe things or observe using the science process skill. Number 3 is classifying. From the word classify or group or sorting. We group them or we sort things. We group the boys and we group the girls like that. We group young and old. We group big and small. We sort things. We group them. So how are we going to group some other things? We group things according to their color, according to their size, and according to their shape. For the size, we have large, medium, and small. Usually, we can see this in our t-shirts or in our shoes, in our pants, in our clothes. We are using small, medium, and large. For the babies or for a student like you in P2, your clothes were just the size of your clothes were small. For your parents, the size of their clothes are large or medium. Okay? And we can also sort things by shape or group the things that with the same shape, like the stars, the circles were grouped together. If you want to do something, you group them before you make, like this one, if you want to make a beads, a beautiful beads bracelet, you have to sort first or group first those objects that has the same shape. And also we sort according to colors. Our clothes from the closet, we also use them or we also measure them using or sorting them using color, okay? We group our things inside our closet by colors. So here are some examples. By color, okay? We group the dogs according to their color. This dog is colored orange and these dogs are colored blue. So we group them according to their colors. Next is by their kind. So we measure the object or the things or the garbage. These are garbage or waste products that we can sort or we can group or we can classify according to their kind. This one is tissue, wood, like this one. These one are all plastics. These one are hazardous. And this one is recyclable material or biodegradable, meaning they can be used again as a fertilizer. So this one is a kind of classifying. We classify things based on their kind or by kind. We can also classify things according to Living and non-living things. The living things, we have the plants and animals. So we can classify the group of animals and we can also group the plants, okay? The different kinds of plants and different kinds of animals. So that is another way of classifying the living things, grouping the plants together and grouping the animals together. Okay, so next we have classifying by size. This is an example. Very small, small, medium, and large. We classify the stones or the rocks according to their sizes. Large, medium, small, or big. Biggest, bigger, big. And this one is small, okay? Or we can group them according to small, medium, and large, or very small or tiny. So this is how we classify things according to sizes. So we are now in number 4. Number 4, but before we go to number 4, let us review first. The first one is observing. We use our 5 senses. Number 2 is measuring. We use different measuring tools or measuring device. Number 3 is classifying or grouping the things. Okay, in science process skills, we group things or we sort things together based from their color, shape, sizes. Okay, and what do we measure? For measuring, we measure the height, the weight, the length of an object or of a thing. Okay, now let's move on to number 4. Number 4 is predicting. Predicting is you are thinking what will happen in the future, okay? You are just predicting, making a guess, making a hypothesis, okay? Or educated guess. Like, what will happen in the future? You ask yourself, what will happen tomorrow? Am I going to get taller tomorrow because I slept early today, or I drink milk every day, I will become stronger. So what will happen in the future? So you predict things, making a hypothesis, making a guess. You are guessing what will happen next, okay? Example, this father, okay? The father predicts that his son will become a legend, that will get a trophy because he is always playing football. He is always practicing playing football. That is why his father is predicting that his son will become the best player, okay? The best player in football. So that is how he predicts things. So just like you as a student, when you are studying well, you are always present in your class and you always do your homework, always do your best and make something that your teacher were asking you to do. So that will, you can predict that you can get a high grade, okay? You can predict that you will get a high grade and you can predict that you will move on to the next level after you study in this subject, okay? Now let's continue. For our number 5, we have inferring, okay? We infer based from our understanding. So in inferring, remember what is the difference between predicting and inferring? Predicting is you are just guessing, okay? It can be true or it cannot be true. The outcome can be true or can't be true. But in inferring, You are making your conclusion based from the things that you observed, based from the things that you gathered. You saw that the butterflies has different colors. Now you can see that butterflies have different colors, or we can group the butterflies according to their colors. So in inferring, this is drawing a conclusion or making a conclusion. So we are making what we observe, what we measure, okay? What we predict, if our prediction is true or not. So here it is the conclusion of all the activities that you are going to, that you have done, okay? It is making a conclusion. For example, you are experimenting about different tastes of candies, different tastes of candies. So what are the different tastes of candies or different tastes of fruit? Is kiwi sour or is kiwi sweet? You need to taste it using your senses so that you will know that it is sweet or sour. And then for your inferring, you will make a conclusion that the kiwi has a sour taste because you observe it using your sense of taste. Okay? So that is where we apply inference. We are making our conclusion based on our observation, based on our measurement, based on our classifying things, and based on our predictions. Okay, now, here in inference, it may include cause and effect relationship. What is the effect and the cause of that things that happen? So, you investigate using different kinds of scientific process skills or science process skills. In doing an experiment or in studying science, we always use the scientific process, and we always draw conclusion or making our conclusion based on the fact of the things that we observe, the things that we measure, the things that we classify, and the things that we predict. So this is an example of inferring or inference. If you saw a person that his or her pencil will worn out, the eraser on his pencil is worn out, is well worn, or no more eraser in his or her pencil, it means that the person who used the pencil made a lot of mistakes. Why? Because there's no more eraser. You cannot see the eraser anymore. That is why we can say that the person who is using that, who owns that pencil, maybe he always made mistakes. He always made mistakes, okay? And also in the railways, okay, we can see this one. If this one moves down, what can we infer? We can conclude or we can infer that the train is coming because the cross gate is down already. We cannot pass through it because the train is coming. So that is how we infer. Also, in the traffic light, we can also infer in the traffic lights the blue, the green, the yellow, and the red. If you saw a green, that indicates that you need to go or you need to stop. Yes, you need to go. That is the indication you infer go. And if you saw an orange or yellow, I mean you saw yellow, that means that you need to slow down, okay? Don't go on, okay? You just need to slow down, okay? And if you saw red color of traffic light, then you have to, what we've done is we stop when we saw that the traffic light is already color red. So that is how we infer things. So that's it for today. Now those are our scientific process skills that we need to use in studying science. So let us review first before we go on. So we have, number one is, very good, observing. Observing using our 5 senses, very good. Our 5 senses are sense of sight, sense of smell, sense of taste, sense of touch, and sense of hearing. For our hearing, we hear the sounds. For our taste, we taste the food, okay? For our sense of touch, we describe if the things, or we look if the things is soft or the things are hard or smooth and rough. And that is for sight, hearing, touching, smelling. We can measure, classify, or we can observe that the object has a good smell or has a bad smell. Okay. And the last one is sense of, what's the last one? Sight, hear, touch, and the last one, the other one. Sense of smelling, finish. Sense of tasting, sense of hearing, sense of sight, sense of feeling, okay? So those are the different 5 senses that we use for observing. And for the measuring, we measure the length, the height, the width, and then the temperature, okay, of object or of water or of the air. So for the length, the basic unit for the length is meter or centimeter. For the weight, we have grams or in kilograms. For the temperature, we have Celsius or degrees Celsius. So those are the basic units that we use to measure or when we are measuring things. And the fourth one is predicting, or we are making or thinking what will happen in the future, or making a guess, an educated guess or a scientific guess. And number 5, the last one is inferring, or we are making conclusion based from all of our understanding. Okay, so that's it for today. See you again next meeting. I hope that everybody are doing good and fine. See you. Goodbye and thank you, everyone. So let me stop share first.